I went to a fraternity party towards the beginning of the school year. I didn't really know anyone there besides the girls I went with, so I was just hanging around them. There had been a group of girls when I first arrived that looked as if they had had too much to drink, but I didn't do anything of it at the time. As the party went on, that group of girls drank more and eventually got separated from one another. One of the girls was stumbling all over the place, so clearly she needed to go home. I took her upstairs, called her an Uber, and made sure she was all set before I walked back inside. By the time I got back inside, I couldn't find any of the other girls from her group, so I continued on with my night. A little later, I saw a group of guys surrounding a girl, and I suddenly recognized that I had been one of the girls from that group. There was this one specific guy that was touching her, kissing her, and a few other things that needed consent, but she wasn't in the right state of mind to say yes or no. A few other people noticed, but none of us did anything. Eventually, he had had enough and left her alone. Social inequality refers to the existence of unequal opportunities and rewards for different social positions or statuses within a group or society. The access that is given to a particular group can be brought upon by race, religion, gender, and class. The situation that I witnessed can be described as social inequality for two reasons. One being because he was male, he believes that he can get away with certain behaviors and not have to face any consequences. His inappropriate behavior towards that girl is demonstrated by a concept called sexualization of women. After having witnessing them take advantage of her, I saw that she was being treated as an object rather than a real person, with no regards to how she felt at that time or what she wanted. Men are taught that they have a greater distribution of power over women, so they take advantage of this power at any given moment they can. The second reason in this situation is there was an unequal treatment and perceptions of an individual due to their gender, which falls under the concept of gender inequality. Women are depicted in our culture as sexual objects that exist for men's pleasure. They are depicted this way because women are not seen as equals. They are seen as inferior. And with this idea that women are objects made for men, he believed he had the authority and power to do whatever he wanted to do with this girl. Normalization of inequality is a social process through which ideas and actions come to be seen as normal and become taken for granted or natural in everyday life by larger groups in society. The social inequality demonstrated by the guy is normalized by gender socialization, which is the process of learning the social expectations and attitudes that are associated with one's sex. It demonstrates how males and females behave in different ways because of how they learned different social roles. The typical male attributes are to be strong, aggressive, and dominant over the opposite sex. Because men are made to feel greater dominance over women, the group of guys, but more specifically, the male committing the act, behaved in a way to make the girl feel extremely weak compared to him. Second reason is people, but more specifically men, believe they have the right to make verbal and physical advances to women because of the way they have been socialized to be sexually assertive. This falls under the concept of sexism, but more specifically, gender discrimination. Although men are taught to be direct, honest, and take appropriate ways of approaching situations, men unintentionally take charge of one's thoughts, which prevent someone from speaking up. In this situation, the male prevented the girl from saying anything, which allowed him to continue. As a college student, witnessing social inequality is common, but standing up against is very difficult for many. I was one of the many individuals who chose to look away and do nothing. This reason has to do with the relationship between agency and structure. Agency is one's freedom to make choices for themselves in any given situation. On the contrary, structure refers to the idea of how the society's norms influence the decisions of that individual. The purpose of agency and structure is to model the relation between the individuation and socialization. In the situation I witnessed, I had a choice to act and speak up to that group of guys, but I chose not to. I had been too afraid of what would happen to me to do something. My parents had taught me the importance of speaking up for what I believe in and standing up for what's right. But because of the environment I was in, I felt that I could not do that. That what I had to say was irrelevant and would only make things worse for that girl. What I could have done differently is stepped in, grabbed the girl, pretended she was my friend, and then take her home. Or I could have gone to another witness of the incident and asked them to help too. Stepping up would have prevented that guy from making that girl feel less than she is, and it would have stopped him from doing what he did.